Hey guys, I am Stacy. I was just kind of sitting here, your mind just kind of starts racing thinking about certain things. And I was wondering if anyone has had any, anxiety that kind of, maybe in the back of your mind you realize maybe it kind of relates or goes along with your weight. About 10 years ago or so, I used to work at this job in downtown Austin, and it was in a parking, garage. And I started realizing, as it got closer to, me getting off work at night, I started just kind of getting this knot in my stomach, anxious or whatever, um, panicky kind of because I realized that I didn't like driving out of the parking lot at night. I was fine walking to my car, I'm fine being alone, before and after work, but it's just getting out of this parking lot, I didn't like having to make a left turn against traffic. And, just little things I started doing like that. First of all, I've never been, officially, diagnosed with anxiety. I have so many just kind of health problems related to my blood cell counts that we're trying to figure out that I don't really want to throw another item into the mix. Just little things, nervous about driving to this, parking garage, if you get there after a certain time. If I was going to that store to go drop something off, you have to park in this little breezeway. And if there's not parking, you have to circle around. And I started realizing I don't like it. I don't like driving, I don't like driving in traffic at all. It got to where I was, leaving my house an hour and a half in the morning at 5:30 in the morning when, my location didn't open until 7, and I'd sit outside in the parking lot for an hour and eat my breakfast or, read a book or, play on the internet or something. And, just little things like that I started doing, driving in the rain. It got to where, I don't like driving in the rain. And if I don't have to, I'm not going to. And the older I get, I started realizing I think that's anxiety. Like, I think I have, anxious. I think I'm, anxiety. And I started thinking, I was like, I was just kind of going back to, you wonder, have your kids missed out on anything? I personally don't think my kids have really missed out on anything because of my weight, but I'm wondering if you guys have had any experiences. About 10 years ago, we took our kids to our first, big vacation. We went to Disney World. It was the first time they flew like on an airplane. I kind of researched it for months before we went because I was worried, am I going to fit on the rides? Because we have two boys and my husband. And I was wondering, was my husband going to have to take turns because I can't fit? So I was watching any video possible. And, since then we've actually been, I think, about 5 times. And I can say I'm 5 feet tall. I'm full, transparency. I'm currently 284 pounds. We haven't been in about a year. So let's just say about 250-ish pounds. I was able to fit. I rode all the rides. I didn't have any problems. Now, I'm sorry, I rode all the rides big kids want to ride. I didn't do like any of the teacups or any of that, so I can't tell you those. But all the main rides, I did. But then whenever, again, anxious, you're worried about, flying on an airplane, are you going to fit? You've heard stories about, is it Kevin Smith, where he got kicked off, or larger people were getting kicked off for having to buy a duplicate, buy a second seat. And just these things that I'm like, okay, you get anxious. And it got to where I actually bought a second seatbelt, a seatbelt extender, because I didn't want to be embarrassed or, called out the first time we rode. As I was, putting my, walking past the flight attendant. Of course, I've heard that they don't get paid until the door's shut and you're, leaving the breezeway or whatever. But I whispered, I was like, I need a seatbelt extender. And, that was easy. She thanked me for telling him now. But, I didn't want her walking through the aisle with the seatbelt or me having to call across people, for seatbelts. And I do even now get anxious, kind of flying, because are you going to fit? Not all planes are created equal. One point, our flight got bumped, one of the airlines, and I was looking at, the seats available, and I was like, I guess my kids, the one thing I have maybe taken from them is the window seat. We're a family of 4, so they don't have seats for 4 of us. So what I would do is put, 2 and 2 somewhere. And because I'm the bigger person, I would take the window seat and let one of my kids sit next to me. And, they would glance over, but I didn't feel comfortable enough to sit in the middle because then I'll be hanging over on the person next to me. And I didn't want to do the aisle seat because then I'll be hanging over, the seats and people walking by the aisle, and of course people are very unkind and hurtful, and I've seen looks they give people, the just the they're unhappy with your size. And anyways, we went to California about 5-ish years ago, and I didn't do really any research because I fit at Disney World, so I guess I kind of assumed you'd fit at all theme parks. Well, we went to Legoland. We went to Knott's Berry Farm that was crowded. I don't think we actually rode or anything. We went to Universal Studios, and they actually have seats outside of all the rides to see if you fit. And I don't think I got on maybe a couple of them. I didn't even want to try just because, I guess a walk of shame having to leave without getting on the ride. But, my kids rode everything. At this point, 5 years ago, they were 14 and 15, so they're okay to stand in line by themselves. My husband's not really a roller coaster fan, so he didn't mind sitting with me, but just again, my mind just got to racing, and I'm wondering if any of you guys have ever experienced any kind of anxiety that's weight related. I personally don't like being in crowds, but I only remember now. I don't remember back when I was small if, I enjoyed crowds, so I don't know. But, obviously we're aware of our, body. Do you get anxious when, the elevator's full? I know personally I'll get in an elevator. If it already looks full, I'll walk past it and act like I'm not going, and then I'll circle back to the elevator and take the next one. Or if I get on and other people start getting on, you just kind of feel yourself getting smaller and trying to get smaller and smaller, and, stay up front. So this way you're not the big body coming through on the elevator. And, I just want to know if you guys have ever had these things. Again, I'm going to share my weight loss journey. I've just lost 1 pound, but I'm only on day 2. I've exercised a couple of times today. We're doing it every hour, kind of on the hour. I did, last week I was doing 5, I don't know what they're called, but just, I guess, kind of, curls of 15 pounds in each hand, do 5 of these, lift them up 5 times, do kind of squat on the ground and then jump up for the sky. Again, I don't know what they're called. If you do, put them in the comments. But I'm wondering, I guess, how you handle social situations with, us being overweight. Again, if you ever have any tips, hints, tricks, anything like that, I'm all ears. I am actually all ears. But anyways, I just wanted to see what you guys thought, and let me know. Thank you guys so much, and you have a happy Friday. Bye.